Monaco has a way of making ordinary moments feel extraordinary. Along the glittering streets of Monte-Carlo, where the Mediterranean stretches endlessly beneath the afternoon sun and the architecture rises from the coastline with unmistakable elegance. Luxury is not something that needs to be announced. It is simply part of the atmosphere. Every corner seems designed for a cinematic moment, every boulevard provides the perfect backdrop, and every arrival can feel like a scene from a world where sophistication, speed, and extraordinary wealth exist naturally together. This is Monaco, a place where the sound of a powerful engine approaching from a distance can instantly capture attention, where an immaculate supercar glides through the streets as effortlessly as the sea moves along the harbor, and where the women stepping out of these remarkable machines often bring an elegance that makes the entire scene feel even more unforgettable. There is something uniquely captivating about watching Monaco come alive around these moments. The streets are polished, the buildings glow beneath the Mediterranean light, luxury boutiques line the most prestigious avenues, and the atmosphere carries a sense of exclusivity that is difficult to recreate anywhere else. Yet the true magic begins when a stunning supercar appears in the distance. At first, it may be nothing more than the unmistakable sound of an engine echoing between the buildings, but within seconds, heads begin to turn. Conversations pause. People look toward the road. Cameras come out. The vehicle moves closer, reflecting the sunlight from its sculpted bodywork, and suddenly the entire street seems to become part of a luxury showcase. Behind the wheel is often a woman whose presence perfectly matches the environment. Confident, stylish, and completely comfortable in a world where extraordinary automobiles are part of everyday life, she arrives without needing to make an entrance feel forced. The car itself speaks loudly enough. Its proportions, aggressive lines, low stance, and unmistakable character transform the arrival into something that feels almost theatrical. But there is a certain effortless quality to the woman stepping out that makes the moment even more compelling. She does not need to rush. There is no reason to. In Monaco, time itself seems to move differently when everything around you has been designed for elegance. The beauty of these arrivals is not simply about the price of the vehicle. It is about the complete atmosphere surrounding it. The car, the woman, the architecture, the sunlight, the coastline, and the people watching from nearby all become part of one moving picture. A vehicle that might already be spectacular anywhere in the world becomes something completely different when it rolls through Monte-Carlo. The setting amplifies everything. The Mediterranean provides a brilliant blue horizon, the buildings create a sophisticated urban backdrop, and the narrow streets turn the sound of every performance engine into something impossible to ignore. As the supercar slows near one of Monaco's most prestigious destinations, the attention becomes almost unavoidable. The exterior reflects the surrounding city, like a piece of moving sculpture, while the engine settles into a deep mechanical rhythm. The driver steps out, adjusts her sunglasses, closes the door, and walks toward the entrance, with the kind of confidence that seems perfectly suited to the surroundings. There is no need for exaggerated gestures. The elegance comes from the simplicity of the moment. She has arrived, and everyone knows it. This is one of the reasons Monaco remains one of the world's most fascinating luxury destinations. Wealth here is not always presented through excess. Sometimes it appears through subtle choices. The way a person dresses, the vehicle they arrive in, the location they choose for lunch, the hotel where they stay, the people they spend time with, the effortless way they move through a city where some of the world's most valuable possessions can appear almost ordinary. A supercar arriving in Monaco is therefore more than a vehicle pulling up outside a building. It becomes part of the visual identity of the city. The contrast between high-performance engineering and old-world European architecture creates an atmosphere unlike almost anywhere else. Modern automotive design meets historic elegance, and the result is an environment that seems almost too cinematic to be real. Imagine arriving in Monte-Carlo during the golden hour, when the sunlight begins to soften and the buildings take on a warm glow. The road is alive with movement, but the atmosphere remains controlled and sophisticated. Luxury vehicles pass one after another, each carrying its own personality. Then, from behind the traffic, another unmistakable machine approaches. Its silhouette immediately stands apart. The driver slows, allowing the car to glide smoothly toward its destination, and as it stops, the entire scene seems to pause for just a moment. The door opens, and a beautifully dressed woman steps out. Her style is polished without appearing forced, perfectly matching the sophistication of Monaco. She closes the door gently, turns toward the entrance, and begins walking. Behind her, the supercar remains parked beneath the Mediterranean light, looking almost like a work of art positioned deliberately for everyone to admire. The moment lasts only a few seconds, yet it creates an impression that can remain unforgettable. This is the visual language of Monaco luxury. Nothing needs to be explained because the surroundings communicate everything. The city itself tells the story. From the elegant streets of Monte-Carlo to the glamorous waterfront, every location seems capable of transforming a simple arrival into something extraordinary. But behind the glamour is an entire lifestyle built around access, exclusivity, and experience. For those living at the highest levels of wealth, luxury is rarely limited to owning expensive objects. It is about having the freedom to choose where to be, when to arrive, how to travel, and how to experience the world. Monaco represents that freedom in a particularly concentrated way. A person can wake up overlooking the Mediterranean, enjoy breakfast surrounded by exceptional architecture, step into a high-performance automobile, drive through the city, and spend the afternoon moving between exclusive destinations without ever leaving this small corner of the French Riviera. For many visitors, Monaco is a destination. For the ultra-wealthy, it can become a lifestyle. That difference is visible everywhere. The streets are filled with people from different corners of the world, but there is a certain rhythm to the luxury crowd. They move between restaurants, hotels, boutiques, private events, and exclusive gatherings with an ease that comes from familiarity. The city may be compact, but the experiences available within it can feel limitless. And then there are the cars. Monaco has become almost synonymous with extraordinary automobiles because the city provides one of the most spectacular environments imaginable for them. Supercars do not simply look impressive here. They become part of the city's visual culture. Their reflections appear in glass buildings, their engines echo through narrow streets, and their silhouettes stand against the blue Mediterranean like moving pieces of modern art. A woman arriving in a supercar adds another layer to that spectacle. Her presence brings movement and personality to what might otherwise be an impressive machine sitting still. She steps out, and suddenly, the vehicle becomes part of a larger story about confidence, style, independence, and luxury. There is something especially fascinating about the contrast between the raw performance of these machines and the elegance of the women who drive them. A supercar may have the ability to produce extraordinary acceleration and breathtaking performance, but in Monaco it is often seen moving slowly through traffic, navigating elegant streets at a calm pace. The machine was engineered for speed, yet the environment encourages sophistication rather than urgency. That contrast creates some of the most memorable scenes. The engine may be capable of producing an incredible roar, but the driver does not need to demonstrate its full potential. Instead, the car simply cruises through Monte-Carlo, attracting attention with its presence alone. The sound is enough. The design is enough. The setting completes the picture. As evening approaches, Monaco becomes even more captivating. The sunlight begins disappearing behind the hills, and the city lights slowly emerge. Storefronts illuminate the streets, hotel entrances glow against the darkness, and the waterfront becomes a collection of reflections shimmering across the Mediterranean. Supercars parked outside prestigious locations begin to look completely different beneath artificial light. A woman steps out of another luxury vehicle, and for a brief moment, the headlights illuminate the pavement around her. She walks toward the entrance while the city continues moving behind her. People pass by, conversations continue, and traffic flows along the road, but the scene still feels remarkably composed. This is Monaco at night. The energy changes without losing its elegance. The city becomes more intimate, more mysterious, and even more glamorous. Restaurants fill with guests. Luxury hotels welcome visitors arriving for evening events. The sound of engines continues along the streets, but now it mixes with music, conversation, and the distant sound of the sea. For those who live this lifestyle, These moments may feel completely normal. That is perhaps the most fascinating part. What appears extraordinary to an observer can be routine for someone who spends their life surrounded by luxury.